Today on the workbench, I've got a new project. This is a Broadway Limited GP35. Of course, it's a high hood, but it's a stealth version of this locomotive. So we're going to be putting in a Blunami, Soundtraxx Blunami decoder. I'll have a Decoder Buddy in it. I'm not sure if I'll use a V1B or a V1 or a Decoder Buddy Mini. We also have a scale sound system speaker. This is a U-Fit. It's a 23 by 18. So that'll fit nicely in there. We might as well get started on this thing. I won't have to upgrade the lighting because it already has LEDs in it. I should just have to pull the couplers out of this and we'll be good to go. I may end up putting KDs in this once I'm done. We'll see about that. I also have a new test stand that I'll show you with this one. So somewhere I am missing a screw or something. And I know I just took one of these apart. Well, not the high hood version, but those two screws in the bottom there just hold the motor. Where's my little pry bar? Let's see. So I'm basically just prying up under the sill. There we go. All right. So what we're going to do is, after I pull all of this tape from the electronics off, we are going to put a current keeper in, or keep alive in this thing, and I'm going to wire it up just like I did that other GP35 that I did. And this does have a speaker in it already, but I am not going to reuse that speaker. That's some good stuff right there. Let's see. Get my pliers here that I use to remove plugs. There's the speaker. Lots of lighting functions on this thing. Some of those things are in there a lot better than you'd think they would be. What I got here in the way? Okay, so we've got that mostly apart. Get to these screws and pull out the board. So there's our decoder. Let's see, I believe that speaker is held with this one. Yep. So these two screws hold the speaker in. Oh no, they don't. Where's that screw at? Go ahead and pull that off. That frees up that. How did I get that speaker off there the last time? I'm losing my mind. Oh, it's taped down. Alright, that's why. Actually, it's got a couple little clips right there. So, that's why it wouldn't come up. Okay, so we've got that out. That'll sit right in there like that. Like the last one. We will use our Decoder Buddy V1. That'll sit just like that. I can get the motor wires all prepped up before I put them in. So we'll cut that off. We'll get these stripped and fluxed and tinned. Same way with the board. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and basically just put these in. Yep. Let me do this. Need to put some solder on these, flux them, tin them. Pull the lighting board off of the Decoder Buddy. Okay. We'll try this and see. If I can get this in here. Okay, there's that one. There's the other side. That gave me plenty of room in there. Now I can go ahead and put the board down. Okay. Now, we'll get our track pickups. We'll cut these off. Okay. And I'll put some on the track pickups. Might as well get everything in one shot here that we need to do. Okay. Get all of our track pickups hooked up. Alright, there's our track pickups. Now I can pull that off. And I'm going to test this thing. Get out my little test decoder. And we'll see if this thing moves the right way. I'll be back. Alright. So the decoder or the motor is wired up the correct way. I went ahead, I've got the speaker prepped, got the wiring on that. I just need to put a couple pieces of tape on it. I need to file that down just a touch. There's a little burr there, little plastic burr. Okay, now we'll get some alcohol out and we'll clean off. Yep, I've got this little alcohol dispenser here that pumps up, and if you don't use it for a while, okay, the alcohol settles. Takes a minute to prime it up. All right. Got our thin 3M tape out. Yeah, that'll work. I'm going to put the other side on. Now, the fun part, as always. There's one. get that snugged on there. Now we can go ahead and get our speaker wire cut down to size. All right. Okay. Get that out of the way. And then we can get our speakers wired in. Okay. So there's our speaker. And track pickups. We'll go ahead and put this new decoder in here. And then I can really try this thing out before we start the lights. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so we've got everything working the way it needs to work here. I'll get to the lighting here in a little bit. I want to put a keep alive in this. So what I've got is a NixTrainz Power Bridge III 2-wire stay alive, and it comes with these small capacitors. Let's see, what are they? I forget what these are. I think I have one video out with these on it. These are a 0.3 farad. There's 2 of them in the kit. You don't have to run these. I take and I buy. These are the same capacitors that are in scale trains. They're the same capacitor that's on a ESU power pack. This is a 2.7 volt 1 farad capacitor, so it will work with this power bridge. So we'll assemble that, and I got these, I think I got these off of Amazon. So the way these are assembled, basically your short leg is your negative on the capacitor. This is your positive side. the brown wire on here is the positive side, and of course the black is the negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put I'll have the capacitor here, and I mean I can make this one little unit. I could tape it there, I could set it back here. I think what I'll do is I'll put the board back here. Yeah. Either way, but I'm going to go ahead and put this together. Yeah, let me get this together, and then I'll be back. So like I say, the brown is the positive wire, goes to the long leg. The black is the negative wire, goes to the short leg, and then you just hook it up like a regular 2-wire keep alive. So, okay. So I decided I took the board for the power bridge, double-sided taped it to the capacitor, because I'll put it right here, but instead of using the wires, I just took the leads from the capacitor and soldered them right to the board. So just to make a nice little bend. Now I'm going to test this. So I know it'll work, but I want to test it before I put the conformal coating on this. And what I'll end up using is this product right here. That'll keep it isolated from anything. That way I won't have to worry about it. But I'm going to go ahead and install this. Let's see, let me pull the decoder off. So our direction's good, everything's good. That'll go. We'll use our, let's see, it's labeled on the back. It's this, the second one is the ground, and the third is I said that wrong. The second one is the positive, and the third is the ground. So that's what we'll end up using for our leads. So let me go ahead and just kind of to get an idea how long I need this. We'll cut our red wire. A little more. And then I'm going to cut our black wire the same length. And then we can get this we'll get these tinned and fluxed, or fluxed and tinned, however you want to look at it. Okay, and now I'll go ahead while I've got this sitting in this clamp. Okay. So there's our Keep Alive hooked in. Now I'll go ahead, I'll clean this little spot. And I want to put this like this. I'll keep that flip down like that. But get out my tape. Okay. Then we'll squeeze that under our wire. There we go. There's our Keep Alive installed, other than me putting the conformal coating on that. So now we'll try that and see how that works. See what kind of time we get out of it. Okay, so that works fine with its setting idling. I got 5, almost 6 seconds worth of time out of that one Farad capacitor. So we'll get this thing, the conformal coating on it, and I just apply it with a just a little brush. Nothing special, one of these little micro brushes. It is kind of has a thick consistency to it. So let me just kind of brush it on. Nothing special. And really, that's it. So now that stuff does have an odor to it, but I'll let that dry. And then I'll put another coat on it. But yeah, there's that. If you can read that, MG Chemicals silicone modified conformal coating, and there's the part number for it. If you can read that. So. Alright, I'm going to set this off to the side, off to the back, I guess, and then we can start on our lights. That's the great thing about that Decoder Buddy. I can move that around, and all we're doing is hooking to the light board. Of course, I've got a couple old ones here that I stick the board onto. But anyway, before we get to that, alright, so Long hood is forward. This basically has class lights and headlight in it, in the front, and in the rear basically the same thing. We have headlight, class lights, and I believe number boards. Yeah, so we have 3 functions on each side. So what I'm going to do is, I don't need any of this mess. I am going to cut all of that off. That gray, I believe, is the number boards, but we'll cut that plug off, and then we'll cut that off, cut my red off, which is the positive, cut that yellow off that, so that frees up that board. I don't need it. And we'll go ahead and cut the plugs off of the front lights up here. Alright. Now, before anybody says or thinks, you're probably thinking it anyway, why go to that trouble? Just put in the decoder on the stealth board. Yeah, you can do that, but all of my locomotives are all the same. Decoder Buddy, scale sound system speaker, and most are Soundtraxx decoders. I do have a couple of ESU, but I'll end up changing those out eventually. And they all have a keep alive in them. So I think consistency is the greatest thing in the world. If you have a problem with one, basically it's, you know, if you can fix one, you can fix the rest of them. I don't have to remember what's what, what's where. I can just go in, I know what the trouble is, and I can fix it. But having them all the same makes it so much easier to work on, because I'm not sure how many locomotives I have. I'd say I have 100, maybe more. But anyway, and then of course the ones I do for customers, I don't know how many of those I do a year. But anyway, enough of that. I'm going to go ahead and strip these, and I'm going to see what function is what on this. So the yellow back here is my number boards. Yellow is the number boards. Go ahead and strip both of these off. And the red is the positive. Well, if I can get a hold of that. The brown is the headlight, and the gray is the class lights. So now I will bring this back up. I want to make sure that I'm going to have enough wire going to be really close, I think, because this wire plug in the back comes down, so it's going to have to go up and over the speaker. which here's the original speaker. Yeah, it's same height. So let me get this out of the way. We can start soldering our wires to the board. After I get these fluxed, I'm going to take and put a piece of heat shrink on those. Let's get out board here. Okay. Now, this board is situated that way. So I want to make sure when I flip this thing over that we're sitting in there just like that. Red is positive, gray is the headlight. Number boards. Or was it the headlight? Let me make sure. Gray's the class lights. Brown is the headlight. Okay, brown's the headlight. But the important one is the brown one. Let me take a piece of heat shrink. What did I do with my heat shrink? That will keep that a lot neater in that pile. So I'm going to go ahead and on my Decoder Buddy light board, I'm going to put some solder, tin these the positive side of this. So up here will be our front light. I may have to do this off camera so I can get my magnifier out, and then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this easier on myself, I think. Let me try this. There's the positive. Brown is the front. Yep. Brown is the headlight. So before I hook that up, kind of get some of these other wires out of the way. Okay, and then that yellow, we'll cut it off, make it the same. Same length anyway. And there's really no rhyme or reason to which one I'm using here. These out here. This over here will be our rear light. So I'm going to go ahead and flux a couple of these up, tin them. Okay, now we can put our red one in. Now we can go through and start putting the rest of the wires on. What do we have there? I've got an extra wire that I am uncertain about. Class lights. Yep. We'll figure it out when we get, I think the yellow was our, no, wait a minute. The brown will be our headlight again. So let me take and put that in. Okay. There's that. And I'll try it. Help if I turn the power back on. Well, that's different up there. What is... So the yellow is the number boards. So I'm going to put it on with the front number boards. And then the blue was the class lights. Still not quite sure what that black wire is for. So, you unplug that. We've got everything but our black wire hooked up. And like I say, I don't know what that goes. Oh, I think there might be a sill light there. Let me get this thing finagled around to where I can see it. Okay, so I figured out my black wire. Actually, the black wire is the positive for the headlights. So the brown is the, or wait a minute, I told you wrong. The black is the function side. The brown is the positive side. So let me go ahead, take that out. I need to put it put the brown on the positive and the black as the function. So unlike the front board, this back side has two boards. I'm not sure. Okay. So now we have everything hooked up. Now we are good to go. Yeah. Okay. That'll sit right on there. I'm going to test all this out, and the next time you see it, it'll be up on the test track. Okay, I'm back on this BLI GP35. I kind of messed up and I wanted to make it right here. So the original way I had this hooked up, let me pull this board off here, this lighting board. That way it'll be out of the way. So I have one capacitor hooked up to this Power Bridge 3, the NixTrainz Power Bridge 3, and so it works kinda. I'll just say kinda. So I was talking to Nick from NixTrainz and told him what kind of time I was getting with this capacitor in this configuration. But my question was, can I run it like this? And so the answer is basically no. I think according to the email, it will overcharge. I'd have to dig the email out to find that, but I think that's the long and the short of it, is that it will overcharge, and over time it would burn this up. So I am going to remove this, reconfigure it with two capacitors. So let's go ahead and we'll just unhook those wires. Actually, I'm going to unhook these track pickups too, just to make this a little easier. But I wanted to show that. I didn't want to put that out as the gospel. So that tape does stick really well. So what I'll end up doing is I'll remove one leg and I'll hook it up into, it'll be series, and that way what we'll have this one basically here. I'll put the other one back here, so I've got another one of these. I can put it right there and it will be good to go. Now the bad part of this, I put that conformal coating on here. I don't think that'll hurt anything, so I'm going to leave this short leg, or the negative side, hooked up. So I'll have to run a wire back to the positive side, and we'll end up, hopefully I have enough room I can slide. Oh yeah, got enough room to slide that in right there. And I'll go from negative to positive, and then, or positive to negative, and then back. So I don't think that I'll show that on camera. See if I have a, so I've got a piece of red wire long enough to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and put this together, and yeah, okay, so I can just use this piece of wire and then we'll get it all together, and we'll be back here in a second. Okay, so once again, now I do have it in the correct configuration. Got it wired up in series according to the instructions. I did test it. I'm getting 5 seconds out of that. So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good run time on that. But I'm ready to button this thing up. Oh, I did take some conformal coating and put on the exposed metal parts of that, so we're good to go in that aspect. I do think I will clean a little bit of that off. I think there's some flux right there on that board, so at some point that may cause an issue. Okay, we are good to go there now. I'll clean the bottom of that off. I can plug this back in and then seal it all back up. And we are good to go. So there we go. It all back together. Just got to put the couplers on it. But yeah, that'll work out. Alright, we've got this up on the test track, got it completed. We'll go through the startup sequence here. Okay, now these are all factory settings, other than the volume. I turned the volume down just a little bit, but I haven't changed the prime move or anything. So we'll go through. There's our headlight, and we've got, let's see, our number boards. I think you can see that turn on off there. And then we've got our class lights. So that's the lighting functions on the front of the locomotive. So let's see. There's the horn that I've got on it. Now I will end up changing that. And the bell. But let's move this thing forward. I've got the cab light turned on, the front number boards, and the front class lights. And then we'll switch direction. There, our headlight come on. We'll move it forward again. So yeah, this was a pretty interesting project. We got to use the new Power Bridge from NixTrainz, and yeah, I think it worked out well. Oh, hit the wrong forward there. So. Yeah, this was a nice little project to do, and thanks for watching. Alright, so I said at the beginning of this I'd have a new product to show you. This is a test stand, or rolling road, from a company called AO Rail, and you can see it there on that black box right there in the back. So what this is, of course, like I say, it's a test track. It has rollers on it. Comes with these. You can buy extra sets of those. But I got the long version of this. It's 22.5 inches long, roughly. 23, something like that. But this is a test stand for locomotives. This will fit a big boy locomotive on it. It also comes with these extra little parts for your trucks if you need for steam engines, whatever. But I got the long version so I could do testing with it. But you can also buy this speedometer kit for this thing. And I'm not going to go into all of it right now. But right now you can see that thing's moving. I'm going 5 miles an hour. This will be great for speed matching locomotives. It's great for break-in. I just did the install on this locomotive. I can sit here and let this run for an hour or so. Reverse direction, I'll let it run for an hour or so the other direction. That's the way I test everything. But yeah, I just wanted to show you this new product. I find it kind of interesting. We'll see how it does. And yeah, just something else to play with. But I'll step it up there, and you can see the miles per hour go up. Of course, I've got this on 28 speed steps, and the speeds are a little high. But if I go to speed step 128, let's see what that does. So there I'm on speed step 2 of 128. We'll go to speed step 1. And start climbing here. So I think this will be a handy little tool to have. All right, once again, Thanks for watching. Oh, I will have I will do a video on this itself. So, thanks for watching.